North Country realtors are seeing ripple effects from the government shutdown on the number of people buying homes. At our digital news desk, Karen Peebles, president of the Jefferson Lewis Board of Realtors, joined us for 7 after 6 Tuesday evening. She says around 85% of her business is done with military families. During the month-and-a-half-long shutdown, she says multiple deals fell through on home purchases.
They didn't know what was going to happen, so you can't get them into a home. I have actually a deal right now where it's a civilian employee out at Fort Drum. He's working, he didn't get furloughed, but he's probably going to get laid off shortly, so he's not going to be buying.
Meanwhile, President Trump has been floating the idea of a 50-year mortgage to potentially lower the immediate costs of buying a home. Peebles says there isn't enough information yet on how that would work to take a firm stance on it, but she wonders how high the interest rate on such a long-term loan would be compared to traditional 30- and 15-year mortgages.